Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we are here, Mary.
I like our intro.
We're on the same, we always say.
Gets us on the path.
It does. We always say at the end, we'll be here on the same Mary Bird network, Mary Bird channel. I don't know, I can't remember the thing. The Batman thing, the old Batman thing.
It comes right off of your top of your head.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyhow.
Sometimes you say same time, same place. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Well, is this the same time, same place? Could be.
Well,
maybe.
More or less.
Maybe. How are you doing, Mary?
Usually. Grand. I am simply grand.
Are you?
I have to say, yes.
Well, can I
say this weather has me singing.
The weather's been nice.
Not the blues.
Been nice. Been nice. We even had the fireplace on a couple times.
We've had the fireplace on.
Might be pushing it a bit, but we did have it on.
I do have to say, this past week did bring a surprise. We had the hottest day ever on record.
We did.
And I think that was Thursday, was it? Perhaps.
It might have been like Friday. Thursday of last week. Maybe yeah. Thursday. I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. It was 93, I think.
Wow.
Hottest day on record.
The hottest day on record.
For this area. And then right after that.
It might have been Friday.
It might have been Friday. Right after that, boom, cold front came in.
Mm-hmm.
It was down in the 50s or something.
Ooh. We almost reached a freeze.
Almost.
We came pretty close.
Yeah, we tipped it and then we're heading back up now. Heading back up. Still nice out.
I want to say it's early in the year, but actually we're right around the exact time
I know,
where you have
believe
your first frost.
It is mid-November.
Mid-November.
That is just nuts to me. I can't even, it doesn't feel like it yet.
Getting ready for turkey time.
Turkey and Christmas too. Don't forget about Christmas.
I got to celebrate turkey time first.
Okay, we'll do turkey time.
I'm very thankful.
Okay.
Very thankful.
Well, I have to ask you, Mary, with this cool weather, what's new in the garden?
Well, the day it turned pretty cold, we went to the Texas Book Festival.
We did.
I totally love going there every year. It is a huge event and featuring books of every description. We did get to see some pretty cool books while we were there. And we got to hear a discussion about the screen printing of the Austin City Limits program over the last 30 years, was it?
20 years, last 20 years.
The last 20 years.
Yep.
And the panel was very engaging. It was a great presentation, I have to say.
It was really good. It was very interesting. I guess I hadn't known that they screen print those and only make 300, 350 of them, something like that, for each band. I mean, I didn't know that.
It's manually printed.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, it's not digital. It's all screen printed. Interesting, very interesting. The process was interesting, and of course, we bought the book that goes with the talk.
Bet.
So we got to look through that. Kind of look at all those posters. They're really cool. Give that a check.
I know, right?
Yeah. It was fun, but the book festival itself is awesome. You get to walk through tents and
filled with books.
And it's a lot of the people that have written books are there. And
yes.
I was able to, this is an old Austin thing, but I was able to meet Bob Livingston, who was one of the founding members of the Lost Gonzo Band. And they played...
He was so engaging.
He was pretty cool. So I bought his book and I got him to sign it and stuff. And they started in 73 and they had people like Jerry Jeff Walker, Michael Martin Murphey was in it, Gary P. Nunn. So they had a lot of members over the times, which is, Ray Wiley Hubbard was in it. And it was kind of an Austin institution. I do remember the band growing up here in Austin. But it was cool. He was a very, very nice man. He had his hat on. He was getting ready to play a song for everybody. But but he was very nice signing the book for me and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
He had a terrific smile. And as you were leaving his booth, he said, "Goodbye, Jeff. Nice to meet you,
Really
Jeff."
nice, really nice
great.
gentleman.
Very nice.
And you get to meet those people there in those, when you walk through. There's a lot of people that have written books, and they're trying, they want to talk about them.
Talk to
them. They
them.
really want to talk about their books.
How did you get started writing? What was your main idea? How did you get that spark? And you get to find out a little bit about them. Really, really cool. And then, of course, they have like the talks that we went to. There's talks with bigger authors, but it's all fun. It's a lot of, they do it once a year here in Austin. Well, I'll never forget the year that we saw Tony Danza give his presentation. And then we got to go through the book signing line and shake his hand as he signed our book. We did. And interesting. It was interesting because it was a book that he wrote about his time as a teacher after he was still acting, but he was older, and he was a teacher in one of the Philadelphia high schools in Philadelphia, and wrote about his time there. We saw Alton Brown. Oh, loved it. So got his cookbook. Exceptional. It's really cool. So if you guys get a chance, I would highly recommend coming to that next year. Oh, absolutely. In November. Fun. It's usually in November. Yeah, it's usually in November. It's a lot of fun, a lot of people, but it's just it's really laid back, and you never know who you're going to run into. Pretty cool stuff. So, interesting story. I love to stop at the University of Texas Press booth. And I generally find some very interesting topics on gardening, on growing in our region, plants of our region, or interesting uses of the plants in our region. And this year was no exception. Well, Jeff got to the booth ahead of me, and he was standing in line to check out. And it's so crowded that when we first started going into the tents, he said, just go ahead, and if you see something, you go ahead and get it. Don't try to find me in the crowd. And I reached the tent as he was paying for his purchase. So I was looking around the tent, and there was a book in there that was very interesting, and I picked it up. And I went ahead and paid for it. And Jeff had already exited the main tent. He was standing outside waiting for me. And as I walked up, he looked at my purchase. Oh my gosh. I said, "Hey, Mary, what'd you get?" And she showed me, and I said, "You have got to be kidding me. There must be 10,000 books in there." We both bought the same book. Out of like 10,000 books. It was hilarious. And our daughter was with us, and she pretty funny. She wasn't surprised. We've been married a long time, but that is, I'm still shocked. Out of all the books in those places, either of us could have purchased. We purchased the same book. Well, anyways, that was fun. The book is called Armadillos to Sisyphus. I have no idea what a Sisyphus is. Well, I don't either. But I think we might learn about it in this book. I think we will. A naturalist in the Texas Hill Country. It was written by David M. Hillis. And it's a collection over 5 decades, I believe, of his essays on the Texas Hill Country. And I'm super excited about reading it, finding out what a Sisyphus could be. Yes. Well, I was attracted to because he's a naturalist and is in the area. It's just funny. It's kind of crazy that we both did that. Considering how many other books we could have chosen, that was the one. Of all the books, that booth housed. It had 200 books. Yeah, it had a lot of books, and there were some other interesting ones. But I saw that. I said, "Oh, that one looks cool. I'm going to get that." And I do reference a book here many, many times called The Remarkable Plants of Texas. That was a book that was put out by University of Texas Press quite a number of years ago. And I'm looking forward to this one too, because I always find that they do really good work. Yes.
Very cool.
So that was what was happening, some of the things that were happening in our garden this week. I mean, really, it is kind of the most enjoyable activities in the garden right now because you're outside and the sun is just pleasantly warm and you can just kind of lose yourself in thought while you're pulling weeds or Bermuda. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to do a good episode on Bermuda.
Yeah, it's a tough little bugger.
It's tough, but it does serve a good purpose too. So might have to put that in our rotation sometime.
Cool.
But at any rate, yes, I'm trying a new experiment in the succulent garden that we planted, and I'll keep everyone updated on the progress. I think I talked about it last week, so I won't go into a lot of detail this week. I'll update you along the way.
Okay.
But
sounds good. Well,
that is what's new in the garden as far as I know.
That was fun. That was fun. Well, let's jump in to your topic for the week.
My topic of the week.
What is your topic, Mary?
This time of the year, especially, I think, it's fall, perfect time for the broccoli to start almost being ready to harvest. Fall is like the optimal time to grow broccoli here in Central Texas and South Texas, especially. Even, I think, in our area, it's possible you could try planting out. But we might be a little past that date. But anyways, we're going to discover the beautiful broccoli.
All right.
Okay.
And I do like broccoli.
It is one veggie that Jeff and I have always agreed on.
I'm very picky, but I like broccoli.
And it's so cute because every time I say, let's have broccoli, oh, little trees. We get very excited about that.
We do.
And so let's go down the path of the little trees. The botanical name for broccoli is Brassica oleoracea. And the Brassica family includes the mustards, the other cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, kale, things like that. That's all part of this family, but the mustard component might be kind of important a little bit later in our discussion. Okay. The earliest recordings of broccoli, they do believe that it goes back to the Eocene era, which is 56 to 34 million years ago.
Wow. Okay.
It's probably, or I'm almost going to say it's definitely not in the form that we go to the grocery store and buy broccoli or grow it in our garden today. It's probably different plant, but yeah, it can be traced back to it's been found back that
That's
far.
A long time.
That is a long time. Oh my goodness. It the whole family kind of originated in the Irano-Taurian region.
Okay.
And I think that is in sort of the Middle East and on into India, perhaps. And a little bit later, we're going to follow it into Italy.
Ooh, I like that.
It was written about in the Sanskrit records in India as far back as 3000 BCE.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
That is
crazy,
the
right?
Broccoli.
The broccoli. So we really look to broccoli because it is a powerhouse. It is. It has vitamin C. It is super rich in vitamin C. And especially going into the fall where we're looking at, various little flus or colds or things like that. Getting your broccoli could be very helpful around this time of year. It provides vitamin K, vitamin A, very good for your eyes. Vitamin E, which is good for your skin and other activities too.
Mm-hmm.
It has B vitamins and folate. But one thing that we look to broccoli for, as we'll see later in our discussion, is sulforaphane.
Oh,
the good sulforaphane.
Don't know what that is, but okay.
Well, as you can kind of think, sulfur, it does produce maybe some of the little smelly, but anyways, it has so many other good qualities. I'll let that go.
Okay.
So it has a huge history of use, like we talked about before, kind of native to all that Mediterranean region on into India. And really, when it began to be domesticated or began to be cultivated more towards what we know today, that kind of happened particularly in southern to central Italy. And it sort of started with the Etruscans, which I thought was very interesting. Etruscans were in the central area of Italy before Roman times. And they selectively bred the wild brassicas, and probably it could be like the 6th century BCE when all of this was happening. And it was kind of like a sprouting broccoli at that time. They ate them like they like to eat them raw.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they would do was they would have big feasts. The Greeks and the Romans would have these huge feasts that would last a very long time. And they would be served a lot of alcoholic beverages during those feasts. And what they would do was they relied on broccoli in the beginning of their meal, raw broccoli, to sort of, I'm probably assuming it's because it's very fibrous, and it would sort of delay the onset of intoxication.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
And it was written about in this vein by Pliny the Elder.
Oh,
Our good
man.
Pliny the Elder. You were singing his name yesterday.
He's everywhere, that guy.
He's everywhere, right?
Pliny the Elder. Yes, I was.
He wrote about him during the 1st century
That's so funny.
AD, the 1st century AD.
Yeah, I was looking up something else. It was Pliny the Elder. Remember,
Pliny the Elder. You were singing his name yesterday.
Wow.
So the Romans also made these dishes where they would boil the broccoli, and generally we're talking about greens. I don't know if they had the huge heads at this time or not. And they would mix them, say, with olive oil, wine, and different herbs. And that would be a dish that they would eat, regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were valued by the people. And they traveled with them, and you could see that they would travel on into like the 14th and 15th century. They were noted in different texts in Tuscany, Naples, and Sicily as being part of their everyday meals, things that they relied on. They were carried over into the Renaissance gardens and kitchens, and still maintaining that same boiled olive oil, garlic, and lemon around this time. Because remember, the walled gardens are now starting to produce specific like vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
And so the lemon and the citrus begin to ripen along the same times as the fall vegetables like broccoli and so forth.
Well, it's interesting on the Italian part because I'm trying to, our family's Italian. Trying to think of, it doesn't come across as I'm trying to think of what Italian specialty meal has broccoli in it.
Well, they do pasta with broccoli.
Oh,
all
that's
the
true.
time.
That's true.
Yeah, they remember it has a very light sauce. I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to think of how your mom prepared it, but I do remember it had like a light chicken broth.
Yeah, you're
that
right.
went
You're
with
right. It
it.
did. Yeah. Okay.
And olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there are plenty of
I'm
other
sure there are plenty. Yeah, I was just trying to think off the
recipes.
top of my head. Yep. Okay. All right.
So interestingly enough, the name came from, and I looked this up to try to see how to pronounce it right. Mostly I heard brachium, but I don't think that could be right. At any rate, brachium, which means arm or branch, and it can also mean sprout. And that's Latin. And so the broccolo, that's how I would say it, I don't know, means the flowering crest of a cabbage, because we are eating the flower bud.
Yeah.
And when we're eating broccoli. And so we come at this time during the 14th and 15th century to the Broccolo calabrese.
Hey.
Calabrian broccoli.
Yeah.
And they began to like saute it. They began to like roast it over fire and things like that. That's we're beginning to see the consumption of broccoli and by those means as well. And they did, interestingly enough, they did eat the broccoli raw, which a lot of vegetables they did not recommend people to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
You know, but they did the broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables as well. So we don't find broccoli moving further north until maybe the 16th or 17th centuries. And what happened was Catherine de' Medici married Henry II. And that's how broccoli began to be introduced more widely into the French court at that time. And she brought her Italian chefs with her.
Oh, wow.
And so it began to be, it began to gain popularity up that way. And it was the late 1600s that we find it moving on up into, say, British gardens and things like that. But it moved slowly. And it wasn't like it, you know, when we cook broccoli, we know that it has a little smell.
Yeah.
You know, not bad. I don't think it's bad. But they turned up their noses at it quite a bit. It wasn't really regular. And we'll find out about that little smell. But the English cookbooks described it as the Italian sprouting cauliflower.
Oh, wow. I mean, honestly, think about it. That I could see that.
They knew, you know, the ancient peoples knew that it gave them health and strength. And they knew it was really good for them. But it took a while to catch on, you know. It did come over into the Americas during colonization and things like that, but it really didn't ever catch on. Basically, in 1929, there were two Italian-American farmers that came out to around San Jose, California. They were Diageo brothers.
Oh, the old Diageo brothers.
I think it's Diageo brothers. And they are the ones that introduced it and got it growing in California. And that's 1929.
That's not that long ago.
No. But it really did not catch on here until after World War II. And our troops, of course, traveled to Europe.
Yeah.
Where they experienced it right from the Italian kitchens, you know. So today, broccoli is one of the most widely used vegetables. The United States is third in the world in production. And I think that's pretty good, you know. And also, California is still the major grower. And Arizona takes second place
wow, that's
in the
surprising.
growth of broccoli.
That's surprising.
And today it is basically eaten worldwide. When you go to a Chinese restaurant,
they use a lot of broccoli.
I love it.
Yes.
And China is the first producer of broccoli. And so we all use it raw, steamed, roasted, stir-fried, or even pureed. I can't say as I've ever had a pureed.
Puree, like a smoothie.
Yeah.
Like a broccoli smoothie.
But in baby food, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. High vitamin C, fiber, and sulforaphane, which we are going to find out about. Sulforaphane is what we're, really looking for. And I am not a doctor, but I do believe all the research that promotes the health benefits of sulforaphane.
Okay.
I can't tell people, I'm not an authority to tell you.
Yeah.
But sulforaphane is an antioxidant. It's a detoxifier, and it does other things in our body that are pretty dang incredible too. I encourage you to look up broccoli and sulforaphane and do your own research. So here's what I want to tell people in this part of our discussion about how you can increase the sulforaphane in your broccoli. It's not in the broccoli right away. So that we all want to find our little habits that are going to increase the amount of goodness, right? And so what you want to do, you want to be able to crush the plant cells. And in that process, crushing the plant cells combined with thyme is going to increase the level of sulforaphane. So you can chop it and let it rest for, 30 minutes to an hour, and it'll increase. Oh, what if you make a broccoli slaw and you really chop it down fine and you let that broccoli just rest, and it's going to increase the level of this. Another way is chewing. Your mother always told you, chew your food.
Get that good stuff out of it.
In this case, pretty important.
Okay.
So what you're doing when you're chopping the broccoli, you are creating a enzyme called myrosinase, right? And before the myrosinase, you have glucoraphanin. Anyways, what's happening is those are going to combine, I believe, and they're going to create the sulforaphane, which is our end product that we're looking for. And you want to sort of be careful. You want to chop it and eat it raw, and you're going to get the sulforaphane into your system. If you're going to cook it, you're going to preserve most of your sulforaphane by having a light steam. They always tell you to steam your broccoli and let it still be crisp, but have a nice color to it. And that's a good way of preserving that sulforaphane. Don't cook it till it's mush. Don't boil it over much or microwave it over much. I do tend to do that perhaps. And also if I'm sauteing it, sometimes I probably let it go a little bit too long. Youch. But here's what is so interesting that you are going to like.
Okay.
Let's say that you go through all the effort of increasing your sulforaphane and you overdo your cooking. You know what you could do to help it increase the sulforaphane?
What?
Add a little mustard.
Oh, okay. I like that.
You love
I'm a mustard guy.
How about a mustard vinaigrette in your salad or over the top of your broccoli spears?
Okay.
And that is going to be a really good...
Interesting.
I know, right? And that brings me all the way back to the beginning of our discussion when I said we were part of the mustard family. And I didn't find any references that pointed to me and said, this is what's happening. But my thought process says, oh, they're sort of related. Maybe there's a chemical interaction there. Yeah. So, yes.
Okay.
Other things that you could use to increase the sulforaphane would be arugula, radishes, even your old friend wasabi. Remember the
I know
wasabi?
Our son, the chef. Well, I put that is some strong stuff.
You just took the tiniest little amount, but it was crazy.
It's crazy strong.
Well, all of these ingredients have an active myrosinase, which is going to combine and restore the sulforaphane formation.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, broccoli.
And a little bit later in our discussion, we're going to talk about sprouts.
Ooh.
Sprouts are very important.
I like it.
And they can have 20 to 50 times more glucoraphanin and myrosinase than mature broccoli. So
interesting.
We're going to look at those for getting a little bit more.
Little green sprouts.
Little green sprouts.
Okay, I like it.
One other thing I want to say is I found this interesting, but when you freeze a product and you thaw it out, it ruptures the cell walls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering if you could harvest a little bit more sulforaphane by letting your frozen broccoli thaw, cook it, and mix it with a mustard vinaigrette.
I don't know. Look at you.
I don't know if this is true or not, but we'll see.
It's a mix master.
We could try it.
Okay.
And
cool.
So, Jeffy, that brings me in our discussion.
Is it time?
It is time. We've learned about the history.
Whoa. I can go a couple ways here, Mary. I got a couple little things for you I could do.
Oh?
First, let me give you a couple little broccoli facts.
Oh, please do.
Do you know about the broccoli protest of 1990, by any chance?
1990. Was there someone interesting in the presidency?
Yes. In the spring of 90, President George H.W. Bush famously declared, "I do not like broccoli, and I haven't liked it since I was a little kid. And I'm president of the United States. I'm not going to eat any more broccoli." So all the broccoli growers across California were outraged. They sent 10 tons of broccoli to the White House in protest.
Oh, my word.
The Secret Service reportedly didn't know what to do with it all. So much of it went to local food banks, making this perhaps the healthiest protest in American history.
I love it. And that is a very interesting fact. I love that.
That is pretty good. There was a farmer in England. He reported a mysterious green object landed in his field in 2009. Locals thought it was a UFO. Turned out to be a massive broccoli floret.
What?
It had fallen off a passing truck, bounced into a ditch, and partially embedded in the mud. For 3 days, UFO enthusiasts came from miles around to see the alien vegetable. Ooh.
That is awesome.
I know. That's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, there's some pretty
crazy. That's awesome.
There's some pretty cool stuff. But I just wanted to play something for you. It's
you want to play something?
Yeah. Everybody just kind of sit back, relax your shoulders.
Okay.
Take a breath and listen to this short little song about one of my favorite vegetables.
I was walking down the produce aisle feeling kind of low when a little green tree said, "Hey, let's go." He flexed his florets, he was bold and free, said, "Eat your veggies, dude, and rock with me." keep me fly. If health had a sound, it'd go crunch, crunch, crunch. Now everybody shout at lunch. Cheddar broccoli, broccoli. Raise your stalks and sing with me. Little green trees in a rock and roll sea. Long live the brock, eternal veggie.
Jeffy, I love it. I'm loving it. I'm dancing.
There is the broccoli song.
The broccoli.
That was fun.
I love it.
So everybody hope to just sat
And
back just to relax and enjoy the broccoli song.
That is dynamite.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I love it.
All right.
Woo.
For Jeff's Corner, that might be what I got for you.
That is a truly good Jeff's Corner.
I know. And the weather's starting to turn. It's towards the end of the year. And, outside of, maintaining your tools and stuff that we've talked about in the past, it's a little bit status quo. But we'll keep coming up with some fun stuff for you.
Absolutely.
Here at the corner.
2 interesting factoids and a musical.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll come up with that. We've had some poems. We got some little songs. We'll come up
go.
with a little something every week.
Well, we are well-rounded entertainment.
Yes. Very good. All right. Well, Mary, I'm going to kick it back over to you.
Yes.
On Broccoli Part 2. Oh, hey, that rhymed. Didn't even know it.
You were amazing.
That was pretty good. All right. What you got?
Well, we are going to dig into the growing of the broccoli.
Okay.
And of course, I'm sort of focused on Central Texas because that's where we are.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Yeah. And I think are classified as 9A now, but according to microclimates around our area, we could go anywhere from 8A, on down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 9A.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that area. So all that to say is broccoli is one of those shoulder season veggies that we have to grow here. And really, in all honesty, fall is probably the premium time to grow broccoli in our area. You can get it started when your days are a little warmer, say, September, October, somewhere in there. And then you could shade the leaves quite nicely as it's coming up. And then it'll produce its head during the cooler weather, which is what you want. Broccoli is eating a flower bud.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to harvest it at the prime time before it bursts open and let it, we're watching it to see if we could catch it right at the perfect time. You can grow it in the spring. You want to, try to really anticipate your timing. You can probably start your seeds indoors, maybe late December to early January, possibly.
Okay.
But broccoli is one of those plants that you need to be careful on repotting it exactly when it needs to be repotted into a larger container. If you keep it in too small of a container, it's not going to produce for you. So it's an interesting plant that way. It's very sensitive to the size that it's growing in. If you're doing a fall crop, you could start your seeds even in late August, all the way through September indoors, and do that same potting up process. If generally, I've heard so many, and I've read so many of the people say transplants are really the way to go. So
on broccoli?
Of broccoli.
Really? That's
Pick
okay.
up the
I'm
transplants at your local garden center.
Okay.
But you can start the seeds yourself. You can even seed it outdoors. You have to do some protecting it from, little cabbage loopers and birds that are come along and peck up the seeds and stuff like that. But you can put it outdoors. Here's the thing. In our area, even though we are in that fluctuating temperature, our temperatures are not that low at night still.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to try to just put some broccolis out right now, even though we're in November.
Okay.
In our area. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Broccoli needs sunshine. And I'm going to be very blunt with our listeners. I've never had good success with broccoli. We've gotten a few small heads, over time. And one of them I just gave up on and let it go to flower last year. But so when you're positioning it, you really want to look for full sun, good sun, especially because you're growing it now towards the fall and the sunlight is not as strong as it is in July or August. You want to have well-draining soil and neutral, Here's the key thing that I have probably been missing this whole time. Broccoli, I don't know why I never really understood it needed this, but it needs a very fertile soil. It needs to have lots of good organic matter, and compost is organic matter, right? It needs to have additional feedings of nitrogen. I don't know why that escaped me.
Okay.
I figured slap it in there and let it go, right? But you want to work in 2 or 3 inches of a good compost. Or I did have mentioned, like if you go to, you can get composted chicken manure or composted black cow, maybe something like that. You want to work in a good 2 to 3 inches of that material in your garden bed. And then as you're planting the broccoli, the little transplant, you want to put it in. Now, I got 2 different ideas about this from my reading. Greg Grant stated in his book, Texas Vegetables and Fruits, to plant it at the same level as it is in the container, which we've heard that recommendation quite a bit. Tricia Shirey, in her book about growing great vegetables in Texas, she wants you to plant it up to the first set of true leaves. So might try one of each of those practices and see what happens. If you're planting a seed, you only want it to be like 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep under the soil. And I did get different spacing recommendations. They go everywhere from 12 inches apart all the way up to 18 inches apart.
Wow.
But I would say if you're growing like I am in a square foot garden, you could try 1 per square foot, see what happens, right? The thing of it is your broccoli is likely to grow 2 to 3 feet tall. So that's going to shade out a lot of the surrounding.
They get big. They get big.
They get big, right? But while it's very young and just getting started, you could plant radishes or maybe green onions around it, or lettuces, things that are going to really produce quickly. And that will keep all the soil covered in that area, so you won't have to pull weeds and things like that. Right when you're planting it, what you want to do is you're going to have a very light application of a little fertilizer to get it started. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to come back in with about 1/2 cup of a complete balanced organic fertilizer, maybe where all the numbers are the same. I don't know. Sometimes they're 8-8-8 or 10-10-10, something like that. So I prefer organic. Maybe, other people, different strokes for different folks, As it keeps growing, you could also use compost tea if you have it on hand, or seaweed, and you just feed it along the way. Then when you harvest your first head of broccoli, let's say it comes up, you've written down the amount of days. Different varieties have different days. As an estimation, anywhere from maybe 60 days to 90 days. I have heard of broccoli with 50 days of maturation. So note that in your calendar, and you're going to go out there and keep a watch on that head of broccoli. Because when the buds begin to swell, but before any of them have opened, that's when you want to take off the stem about 6 inches long down. And what you're going to do is you're going to refertilize that plant at that time. And you're not going to pull out the whole broccoli plant, because after you harvest the initial head, you're going to get side sprouts. And you're probably going to get more broccoli off of those side sprouts than you did off of the original head of broccoli.
Okay.
Which is very exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you get the satisfaction and joy of watching it grow, And so I have never had success with broccoli. And I think it's because I did not understand that it is such a heavy feeder. I don't know where I got the idea that it was a set it and forget it type plant. I'm going to give this a try.
Okay.
I'm quite excited about it. Now, broccoli comes with some challenges. You could get aphids, you could get cabbage loopers, you could get little caterpillars and things like that. You pick them off. You could also try dusting with Bacillus thuringiensis, BT, which we've talked about before. And actually, broccoli might be a good candidate for row covers that would block the insect from coming in, right? Depending on your variety, you have your harvest time could be 60 to 90 days. Your initial head might be 6 to 8 inches across. And you're going to store the cut broccoli in the refrigerator for up to a week. Make sure when you're ready to use it, you're going to chop it up real good.
Of course.
Also, let's say you decide to grow it in the spring and your little side shoots start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And at some point, you're going to be ready to put in your next set of vegetables. One thing you can do in the early spring, if it bolts and starts to flower, you can just let it flower because it's very good for your pollinators. And especially at a time where they may not have a lot of food sources around. You can also freeze your broccoli for a long-term storage. I think it's like up to 6 months. If you blanch it, and that is you get your water to a rolling boil and you drop your vegetable in it for about maybe a minute or two, take it out and dry it, and then freeze your veggies. And that's a good way to hold on to the nutrition. But don't boil it too long. We learned about that. Yeah. So there are several recommended varieties, and the Calabrese and the Romanesco and the purple sprouting broccoli are good for our area.
Okay.
You could do Green Magic. That is supposed to be recommended for being heat tolerant and dependable in our area. Ooh, and one of them that was pretty cute was called the Pac-Man.
Ooh, the Pac-Man.
See,
I like that one.
It's supposed to be a very quickly maturing variety.
Okay.
So what are we going to do if we're past the planting time? Very sad, right? It's very sad.
Where's my Wawa thing?
But we want that sulforaphane.
Yes.
We're going to sprout ourselves some broccoli. And we have had an episode where we talked about sprouting before. And I've really been trying my hand at sprouting. And I have to say I have mixed success. But I think part of it is because I was trying to combine too many seeds all in one thing. It got kind of smelly.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
We want to be careful, right? What you're going to do is you're going to source your seeds from a reputable sprouting source. And we got ours from Botanical Interest at a local natural grocer here in our area. And you're going to have a jar. We have the Now Real Food jar that's a 1/2 gallon in size. And it has I think this is important, it has a stainless steel screen and lid on the top of it. You could find other plastic lids and other stainless steel lids if you want to use a mason jar. You could do that, At any rate, you're going to sterilize your growing equipment first. That's important. And you're going to choose your very good high quality seeds. You want to make sure you trust the person providing them because you don't want any foreign. You want to make sure you get a good seed that doesn't have any foreign debris in the mix. You want to be careful in your sprouting process. I don't know. A lot of people don't seem to have any troubles or anything. I don't know. I'm just trying to be careful.
Yeah, of course. Your recommendations.
So, in my size jar, I could probably go all the way up to maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons. If you have a smaller jar, maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons of seeds. And here's what I learned. I learned something else. I learned this little tidbit from Rhonda Patrick. You actually want to sanitize the seeds before you start sprouting them. And so what you're going to do is put your seeds in your container and you're going to put in some water and you're going to add maybe some apple cider vinegar, maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons. Now, okay, I haven't tried this yet. I'm going to tell you what I learned and I am going to try it. She puts in like 1 drop of dish liquid. And so what that does is it creates the ability of the vinegar to coat the seeds because of the chemical analysis.
Yeah.
It does that.
Right. No, yeah, it allows it to kind of adhere to it.
And so what you're going to do is swish it for a little bit. You're not going to let it sit in there overnight or anything. And you're going to rinse it. Give it a very, very, very thorough rinsing, 10 rinses or something like that. And then you're going to fill your jar with some good, clean water and let it sit overnight. Make sure you rinse all the vinegar and soap off of your seeds. I really want to emphasize that. I don't want to eat soapy seeds. But anyway, you're going to fill it and you're going to let it sit overnight for this first soaking. And then after that, you will rinse it every day, 1 or 2 times a day. Make sure you get all the water out of the jar, lay it towards its side so air can get in there. And it probably takes 3 or 4 days. But for your broccoli sprouts, in order to get the most sulforaphane from those sprouts, you're going to actually eat the sprouts earlier than you would other sprouts. You're going to eat them like at maybe 3 or 4 days old. And then you could take them out of there and refrigerate the sprouts for up to a week, I think it is, and start yourself another batch.
Okay.
And you could use them on sandwiches. You can use it on, you could combine it with your other broccoli to give yourself some more extra power,
special. Yeah.
Extra special power. And what I want to say is you could get a sprouting guide from Rhonda Patrick. It's available at her website called Found My Fitness. And she has a wonderful discussion, very in-depth discussion about sulforaphane and all the benefits that it provides.
Good. Oh, good reference.
Yes.
Very nice.
I did want to mention that the September-October issue of the Texas Gardener has a wonderful article on the bold and tasty broccoli written by Patty Leander.
Ooh,
And I encourage you to look that up. Very good article.
lots of good references for everybody.
Woo! We done broccoli.
A lot of homework. No.
We done did some
Good.
broccoli.
Good job.
Well, you don't have to do your homework. You
No,
can just
they're
eat
just
broccoli.
references. They're good references, though, if people
They
want
are.
to find out more info.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's
They
good. We go
are.
in history, growing,
History. You know, it's
sprouting.
I get down that history trail on these different food sources and plants. I'm always very surprised. Some of them are so recent.
Mhm.
Some of them go back into prehistory.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
I know.
and it's just very engaging learning all this. I do go down rabbit holes sometimes, and I find myself looking up, going, I don't know what I want to say about that.
That's good, though. It's fun. It's fun to
Yeah.
kind of hear about the history of everything.
It makes it more exciting
It
to
does.
go out there
I
in
think
the
it does.
garden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this week. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed learning about broccoli.
Get yourself some broccoli.
Get yourself some broccoli.
All right. What else you got?
Well, coming up next week, I want to say that we're in the prime season here in, Central Texas to get your pansies planted and get your snapdragons planted. I'm waiting very excitedly for my daffodil bulbs to get here
Mm-hmm.
to put those in. There's just lots of gardening that we could get out there and do. And I think I intend to change over our garden. We need to wait here in Central Texas till about this time of year for the pansies to go in well.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is I always plant them and I always think, oh, they're not going to do well, and we go along through the winter. And then come January, February, March, and April, even into May, the display of pansies is I just love it. It just tickles me all up one side and down the other. So, this is it. This is a good time to really get them in there, and you'll look forward to a beautiful display later.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
For
I
that
feel very excited about the garden this
I know.
week.
I can tell you're getting giddy over it. A
getting
little bit
giddy.
giddy. Well, thanks for all the broccoli stuff.
Thank you for the tune.
Hey, that was a cool tune.
That was exceptional.
Yeah.
I loved
that
it.
was fun.
It was very fun.
Hey, as always, we appreciate you guys joining us here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden with Jeff and Mary. And we hope you join us next week. Same time.
Yeah. Here we go. Happy gardening.
Same Mary Bird time, Mary
Get your
date.
broccoli
I'm trying to get that. I got to get that
your
down at
broccoli
some point.
on.
Got to get that good ending saying there.
Yeah, we've got to figure that out.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Okay.
Okay. Until next week, we'll see you guys same place right here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. Bye.